story? The Bears come back or the Packers collapse?
It was the Packers collapse. And credit to the Bears. I'm going to say that right out the gate because they forced the Packers collapse.
Okay.
And so I don't agree 100% with what I heard out of Matt LaFleur, being that it was a lot of self-inflicted. The Bears punched you and then continued to punch you, and you stopped punching. I thought in the first half, that first quarter, I was almost ready to text the group. I promise you I was. Not because we were winning or anything like that. Matt LaFleur is on a mission to prove that he's a better player. I'm better. This is personal between myself and Ben.
And Ben seemed like he thought it was personal, and it was screwing up the Bears.
Yep.
He's going for these fourth downs early. They didn't need to.
It was mistakes. Probably the most impressive play calling and creativity. And you got to have some wrinkles when you're playing a team for the third time. You got to have some wrinkles. I thought they did that. And then the half, they're up obviously 21-3. And I'm not excited, but I'm like, okay. The second half come, and it's like Dennis Allen and that defense says, hey, if we're going to lose, we're going to give them everything we got. Because when you look at what they were doing from a pressure standpoint and what they started doing in that second half, this is what turned the tide. If you look at the numbers, in the first half, 2 pressures. Second half, 10. What did we see in Jordan Love in that offense in the first half? Him sitting back there, just surveying, being special, dissecting everything. In the second half, it was like, look, we can't let them sit back there, make them make an adjustment. They never adjusted. Offensively and defensively, you let Caleb continue to get outside contain. Like rush lane integrity. It was the most, it was the most frustrating game to watch all weekend, because to have a lead 21-3 against the Bears, and Danny's in the stands with the cheese grater on his head, I can't wait. I'm like, this is perfect.
I agree. First of all, both stories are huge. I don't want to take anything from the Bears. This is what they do. This is not like this was the first or second time they've done it all year. So I do have to give them credit. They did it 7 times this year, came back like this and won games. So I'll give them credit. But the bigger story is the Packers, because for one, this might have coaching ramifications. Now, all the reporting seems that they're going to stick with Matt LaFleur.
I think the bigger story is the first flag planted of Caleb Williams' arrival. I think that has the longer historical tale, because I do think Caleb is going to be a great quarterback, and I think that we'll see how this season ends up, ending. But we've talked about that before. We're going to talk about that more. I want to say something about the Packers side of it, because first of all, the fact that these two teams played 3 times, the Bears won 2 of them, and this graphic about offensive plays run while leading exists is the craziest thing I've ever seen. The Bears won 2 of the 3 games. They ran 0 offensive plays with the lead. What's so wild? I'll just be very quick. I've never seen a comeback like this in this regard. The Bears were not that good through large stretches of the comeback.
Yes.
They turned it over on a 4th down in the 5-yard line. They got a huge punt return to put them on the plus side. They got 2 yards on the drive. They gave up a touchdown.
Yeah.
During the Packers had 8 drives after going up 21-3. I've never seen, so like as brilliant as Caleb was overall in the second half, there were a ton of moments watching it where it's like, oh man, if the Bears score here, they could come back. They don't score, and they came back anyway because the Packers gave them the ball back instantly.
All right. This perspective is honestly identical to my reaction when the Broncos mounted their comeback against the Giants earlier this season, and the narrative immediately shifted to, the bigger story is the Giants' collapse, not the Broncos' win. My fundamental contention is that for any significant, dramatic comeback to occur, there inherently must be a complementary collapse from the opposing team. The other side has to facilitate the opportunity. It's an inseparable part of the equation. There's really no circumventing that reality. I believe if the Packers were at full strength, truly healthy, and we universally viewed this Green Bay squad as an elite special team primed for a deep Super Bowl run, then perhaps the storyline of their collapse could significantly outweigh the narrative of the Bears' comeback. However, given the actual circumstances, I think the extraordinary individual plays we witnessed from Caleb Williams ultimately carry more weight. If the Bears had simply found a way to win through a series of fluky events, a special teams touchdown, a critical fumble recovery, the calculus might be different. The comeback was substantial, so I'm trying to envision a scenario where it happens without such spectacular playmaking. Maybe it's a kick return touchdown, followed by a Packers fumble inside their own 20, leading to a quick score. That would feel stranger, more reliant on sheer luck. What we saw, while aided by Green Bay's mistakes, as any comeback requires, was punctuated by moments of sheer jaw-dropping brilliance from Caleb Williams. There were sequences that made you sit back, wide-eyed, thinking, what did I just witness? That was unbelievable. That's where the distinction lies. Yes, the Packers left the door open. They had to for a comeback of that magnitude to be possible. But the manner in which the Bears kicked that door down is what defines the story. It's interesting because the comeback itself wasn't flawless. There was a moment during my live stream where I thought, they should just take the points here. But they went for it, turned it over, and I was calculating the odds, thinking it was suboptimal. Then, on the very next drive, they ended up kicking that field goal anyway. So, it was a bizarre, almost messy sequence, yet it was consistently punctuated by special play designs from Ben Johnson and even more special executions by Caleb Williams. It was simply a wild, chaotic football game. Sometimes, that is the story. We naturally engage in this binary framing for every dramatic result. Is it about Team A's collapse or Team B's triumph? Fans inevitably feel slighted. If you argue the bigger story is the Packers' collapse, Bears fans rightly demand respect for their team's accomplishment. Every fan base does this. My inclination is often to see it as a 50-50 proposition. However, that balance shifts when you consider context. The Packers were a 7 seed on the road and far from 100% healthy. I know Bears fans will counter, we weren't at full strength either, but the Packers were missing their genuine, game-altering superstars on both sides of the ball. Despite that significant disadvantage for Green Bay, the Bears' side of the equation still outweighs it because of the sheer, transcendent greatness displayed to secure the victory. This is compounded by the historical significance, the franchise's first playoff win in what feels like forever, in year 1, with Ben Johnson calling plays and year 2 for Caleb Williams. I find this game, from the Bears' perspective, infinitely more profound, exciting, and grounded in a tangible future reality. It provides real data, concrete evidence, and substantial film to evaluate and confirm what this Bears organization is building with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson at the helm. Those two individuals are the central figures. That concrete, forward-looking narrative isn't necessarily present for the Green Bay Packers in this specific instance. This parallels why I often argue the bigger story in the Eagles' recent loss is indeed the Eagles losing, because a team with that talent level has identifiable recurring issues, like coaching, that carry real consequences. The consequences of the 49ers winning or losing, or the Packers winning or losing in this case, feel different. For the Bears, this victory has monumental implications. It answers persistent questions. Who is Caleb Williams? Who is Ben Johnson in this system? Who are these Chicago Bears? That, to me, is where the core story honestly resides. Ultimately, the game was insane. It was the pure, unadulterated definition of playoff football. Thrilling, box office entertainment that delivered everything you could hope for. So, what more can you really ask for? But those are my reflections. I am genuinely eager to hear yours. What are your thoughts on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears? Do you believe they are the bigger story, or is it the Green Bay Packers' collapse? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree or disagree. Let's engage in some discussions, have some spirited debates, but ultimately, let's enjoy the conversation. Please consider subscribing. We are building an incredible community here and would love for you to be part of it. I aim to create something we all feel connected to and excited about. and I believe we're making significant progress. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.